So tell me, what are some things that, at least one thing, that you used to accept, but you no longer accept it because you have grown? And I'm reflecting on this, that there are things that I used to accept that because I've grown, I now reject. No, I would not accept that. I used to accept being anxious every day. Crazy anxious. You know what I'm saying? The kind of anxious that you can't function. I used to accept that. Now I reject it. I used to accept being anxious to speak publicly on camera in front of a room. I reject it. So I started the eSpeaks platform so I can come on and practice speaking because I have rejected that. Yes. I used to accept being told that I can't or that you're not going to become anything when I was a little girl. But, I was powerless then and I couldn't do much about it. But today, if you even come around my kids with any of this kind of negative talk, I reject it so much more so that I'll ask you to leave my house immediately. Like, I don't subject my kids to anything that sounds or that undermines their promise and their potential and their possibility. No, because already know what the damage that can do. And if I hear them talking to each other in any way that's undermining my kids, they have to either write out like 200 words about why they won't do it again and ask for forgiveness of the other child, the other sibling, because I reject negative talk. I reject being told that I should only make a certain amount of money in my field. I reject that so much that I quit my job and started a business. I reject it. And I will continue to reject any form of mediocrity because now I can see God in high definition. So I reject anything that even appears to make him seem some far off, disconnected being in my life. No, I want something living and active and moving. I want high definition. I recently saw God work so amazingly in my prayer group. These two women just had these situations around their neck for years. And in like a matter of maybe 7 days, God answered both prayers and these women are free. Case dismissed because we committed to prayer and believing that God can do amazing things. I see God rejects a few things too. One example is in the Bible where Jesus went into the temple and he saw people exchanging money and doing this whole wheeling and dealing in the Father's house. And he carefully considered how to respond to make sure he had the greatest impact so that they'll never think about doing it again. And he started a whip and he drove them out, overturned the tables. Why? Because he rejected that disrespect for his Father's house. That's what I'm talking about. There's some things that we have to reject if we are going to grow and see the next best version of ourselves. We have to decide that I reject that. No, that is not God's promise for me. Is that his plan for me? I reject settling for relationships that are sometime, one time, maybe, probably. No, I want a real relationship, a whole relationship with my spouse. I want something rich and meaty. We must desire the best that God has for us. But first, we have to look at the things that he doesn't want for us and reject them and say, I reject that. I reject that. No. Why? But we can only do that when we grow. It will not happen accidentally. When we choose to grow, that's the kicker right there. And a lot of us, we want things to change, but we don't want to change ourselves. And that cannot work. The equation, that math will not compute. I did the math yesterday, remember? There's certain things that just won't compute. The calculations won't work out. The equation won't balance on both sides. Yeah, I know a few things about math. You have to have both sides of the equations balance out. The question I have for you today is, what is the one thing that you can think of that because you have grown, you now reject? Put it in the chat. And if you can think of a couple of things, put it in the chat and celebrate you. You're worthy of celebration because you're saying this. Once upon a time, I used to put up with that sort of nonsense. But today, I won't accept any semblance of it in any form. Why? because you have grown. I'd love to hear what it is that you grew in. I'd love to be able to celebrate with you. I look forward to hearing your story. Continue to desire to heal, aspire, and grow, because that's what we do here. Have a great day.